Welcome to the Astro Imaging Journey channel. Please enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. And so we're going to start going through some of the gear, what I like, what I don't like. Like I said in the last episode, just going to go through and do little mini personal experience reviews with some of this stuff. So again, we'll just do it at random. First, concrete pad. Number one, love it. It's level. When the guys put it in, it's great. Not having to worry about the ground settling or anything. It's if you have the chance to be able to put in a concrete pad, do it. Now, the difference here being that if I had to do it all over again, I would put in a pier. But being that I'm not sure this would be my permanent observatory location, if I were to build one, I'm not planning on doing any type of drilling or anything to attach a pier to this, because in reality, the pier, that concrete pier should be further down in the ground and separate from the rest of the pad, so that if the pad shifts or settles, it doesn't affect the pier itself. So, and the concrete pad is not big enough to support an observatory structure, so to speak. So if I had to do it again, the only thing I would change would be it would be more in its more permanent location, so to speak, bigger and big enough to accommodate some sort of observatory dome, and also the pier put in. So, but as it sits right now, it's good. It's got a compass pattern pressed into it. So we know roughly where north is. But when I take the telescope off of there, I can put like a bird feeder or something else that's more decorative, and it has a little bit more curb appeal than a piece of gray slab concrete sitting out there in the middle of the yard. So, that's the only difference. But yeah, I mean, it is level. When the guys put that in there, it was as level as it could be, and I don't have to make any adjustments to my tripod legs whatsoever. So that's been really awesome. Moving on, APC battery unit. I forget which episode it was, but I had used a marine battery with a power inverter to power everything, and then the marine battery was being charged by a 3 amp charging unit, and that I used for the motorcycle and other, lawnmower and all that good stuff. And it worked, but it was a little bit overkill. If I was taking this telescope out to the field or transporting it somewhere, that would have been more than adequate. However, in this particular case, being at the house, it was overkill, and I didn't like if the battery started leaking, then it would potentially ruin the concrete. So in the meantime, till I get something beefier, or like the Celestron Power Pack or one of those other units, I'm using just a basic desktop APC battery backup like you would use for your laptop or your PC or tower or whatever in your home office. Same thing. It's a 900 kVA. Is it 900 kVA? Let me take a real quick look. Okay, so it's a 900 VA capable, so roughly about 600 watt maximum draw, and it's sufficient for those power outages that come and go. We get those in the summertime. They call them rolling blackouts, whatever you want to call them. They just little power hits, and phone's blowing up today. So that's mainly what I needed it for. If there was any possibility of it, not of the power being out longer than a few minutes, I'd be going out there and shutting it down anyways. But it, according to the unit, it should last about real world plugging in the USB to the APC and using the software inside. When I remove power, it says I have about 45 minutes. And most of those rolling power issues are less than 3 minutes. So it's more than adequate to take care of those intermittent power hits, which happen, like maybe once every 2 weeks. But for the most part, haven't really needed to test it out. And I've got it set up that it'll shut off. The PC will power down on its own to save Windows. If it goes into power mode, if the APC unit is in power or battery mode operation, then the PC knows that once we have about 5 minutes remaining of battery life, it's time to shut down. But I haven't had to run into that. So, and then once it shuts down, the battery unit cuts itself off and does not come on. I've got it set to not come back on afterwards, so that nothing, the telescope doesn't come on and start to try to slew again or anything. So yeah, it was a little rambly about a battery unit, but if you've got anything out there that you're using home power for, I'd recommend that as well, simply because not only do you get the surge protection, but you also get one that'll do pure sine wave technology, so that your power output is cleaner and you don't have those big fluctuations that you can get from the line that can cause surges and issues with your equipment and shorten the life of your power supplies. I would rather have to replace a battery unit than have to replace, 4 power supplies for various pieces of equipment. All right, enough talking about the UPS, the battery backup. In case this is a bad edit, yes, I'm wearing a different shirt. Hey, joys of doing this not full time, and gotta cut what you can when you can, and so we're the next day. So to end this particular video, I just want to talk about the Celestron SkySync GPS unit. Not a fan. Not a fan. It was good for one thing and one thing only: getting my location. It really, it's just been unreliable. Maybe it's just the unit I got. Maybe It's how I'm connecting it. Maybe it's a whole host of things, but I am connecting it exactly as recommended. I apologize to the commenter who said I say a lot. Apparently I do. I was connecting it to the aux port as recommended by the manual, and the hand controller goes into the SkySync. Hand controller talks to the SkySync, and it should work. You should get your date and time from there. You should get your GPS coordinates, your lat and long from there, and it should just work. The problem I had was sometimes I would have it out there for an hour and it would not sync to the satellites. Other times when it would sync, it would take half an hour. It was not reliable. So in the end, with many frustrations, because obviously if it's syncing and it's not exactly where it needs to be, then your alignment's going to be off when you're doing your alignment. So, or when you're telling it, hey, at 9 o'clock, point over here, and it thinks it's 9:05, it's going to think it's over here and not there. Or if you're here and there, the geometry and the whole thing just gets messed up. So after several nights of frustration, making sure the firmware was updated, making sure it was connected properly, the whole 9 yards, I bypassed it. Each night, after about 2 hours of fiddling, I bypassed it, went back to the normal, plugged in the coordinates as I knew them, and then drove on. Fourth day after having it, and mind you, I've had it for 2 years now, 2.5 years. It's on there, but I don't use it. I powered on the telescope at like noon or so. I let it sit all day long until evening. So we're talking 6, 7, 8 hours. And it did sync. The lat and long were about where I expected them to be, just a few decimal points off. And I confirmed that with a camping/hunting GPS I have, that's where it should be. So now I've got 2 sources, double checked with what my phone was giving me, and okay, this is the location I should have. Plug that into my hand controller, and I have not powered on that SkySync since. It has not been hooked up since. I put it on the CGX, thinking that I might connect it up. That there might have been a compatibility issue with the CGEM, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe at some point I will, but not going to do it. So would I recommend the SkySync GPS from Celestron? No, I would not, based on my experience. Your experience may vary. So with that, I'm going to close out this video here. And thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're staying safe and healthy out there. As always, clear skies. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching yet another video from the Astrometry Journey channel. Really appreciate your viewership. In our upper right, we have the latest video we've uploaded. In our lower right, we have what YouTube might think you would enjoy. And in the lower left is our subscription button. Please like this video, subscribe if you so choose. As always, clear skies. Have a good one.